What's up, reptile fans? Dave Palumbo here on New Year's Eve, and we're going to take a quick look into my reptile collection. Luckily, I got my video guy Tyler here. Tyler, Happy New Year.
Thanks.
And we're going to take a look at some wintering stuff we're doing. Because you remember I told you a little early, a few months ago, that I am going to be wintering my #1 Bredl'S pythons, #2 olive pythons, and blue-tongued skink. So this is snake room 1 we're in, which very rarely gets used, but it's cooler in here. And I brought some cages in here. I think I've showed you this before. And I want to show you, these guys got another couple weeks in the cold room here. We're down to about 72 degrees. And the olive pythons, it's funny, they're pretty active for 72 degrees. I haven't fed them at all. As you know, we had a little accident with this big girl here. She had earlier this year. And she's doing great now, luckily. I think she had a concussion earlier this year. Maybe I'll take her out. She's always got the potential to take a chunk out of my arm, so you never know. Now as my camera guy backs up. She's gorgeous. She's one of my favorite snakes. She's my albino olive python. She's probably about 8 or 9 years old. She's yet to breed for me, and I think it's because I've never gotten her cool enough. So this year, hopefully, it's funny how active she is for only 70, 72 degrees here, but she loves it. Maybe she's exhibiting some breeding behavior. I don't know. Hopefully she's producing some follicles, because in another couple of weeks, we're going to be heating her up again, and I'm going to be introducing some males. This is also something I didn't do last year. Last year, I kind of wintered the males and females together, and this year, they're separate. So hopefully she'll be doing great, and we'll be able to put her in with a male and maybe produce some albino olive pythons finally this year. She's got some nice size on her. She's not overweight by any means, and hopefully this will be the year that we see some baby albino any olive pythons. I don't even care at this point. I'll take anything. So we have 2 males. Now, with olive pythons, it's a good idea to have 2 males. Not only can you combat them to get them to want to breed with the female, but they just say that two males are better than one. And once again, if one doesn't breed, you always have the option of another one. So one of my males is this head albino, as you can see right here. Let's take him out. So he's green, so he looks like a regular olive python, but he's actually head albino. So if we bred him to her, we would have the opportunity to produce 50% of them being albinos and 50% producing head albinos, which is kind of a cool option because, you know, I actually like the green, and especially when they're younger, they look really good. I like the green color. It gives a little diversity rather than everything being albino. So he's going to get first dibs at her. Look, he's already trying to get in there, so you never know. And then we have another male down below, which is another albino olive python. So if he breeds with her, he's a little scared here. He looks like he's gonna shed. He's in the pink. If he breeds with her, then what we have is we get all albino olive pythons. So we have 2 options here. The ability to have 2 different ones. Now, once again, it looks like he's gonna go into shed, so I'm gonna put him back here. I don't want to disturb him too much. So these guys are being wintered right now. For the last couple of weeks, they've been cold, actually probably 2 months now. Probably going to go another 2 or 3 weeks. And then we'll warm them up and pray, okay? My blue-tongued skinks are over here. Also, I have my Bredl'S pythons up there. Let's see if we can find this beautiful stone-washed Bredl'S girl up here. You can see her. Actually, my camera guy can get in there probably better than I can. And she has been also cooled down. Now, Bredl'S really have to be kept kind of cool. I hope the 70, 72 degrees is going to be cold enough to get them to breed. Some people say they got to go into the 50s. Some people say 70 is enough. So we'll find out about that. And I'm breeding this Bredl'S python to a beautiful, if we could step back over here, hypo Bredl'S male. And once again, we're cooling him down as well. So that should be a cool breeding. Hopefully we can produce some hypo 100% het stonewashed Bredl'S. So that's my winter project. Well, these are the spring breeders. We call them my winter project because I'm cooling them down way lower than what we're going to do in the other room, which is the boas and carpets that are probably cooled down to about 76, 77 degrees. And that seems to be enough to kind of kick them into breeding. A lot of people don't even cool down their ball pythons. I cool those too, also into the 70, 78, 79 range. And you don't really have to adjust the temperature very much for them to kick into breeding habits. And the truth be told, probably if you didn't lower the temperatures and just threw the males in, they probably breed anyway. I think ball pythons have become almost like rodents. They'll breed anywhere, anytime. I do keep my snakes on a seasonal, cyclical breeding pattern. So I don't usually get eggs. Like some people get eggs all year round. With my ball pythons, I only get them pretty much in the spring and summer, and then over the winter I have nothing, which is nice because it kind of gives me a little break in the action now, where I'm not, constantly pulling eggs and have incubators open and trying to get small snakes to breed. Let's go now into snake room 2 and 3, and I'm going to just show off a couple of cool ball pythons and some boas that I produced in 2019, and then we'll give a little champagne toast for 2020. All right, this is one of my favorite boas that I produced in 2019. It comes from my Onyx Boa litter. These are true dwarfs. This is what I believe to be a super onyx boa. Okay, that's 2 copies of the onyx gene, which produces almost a patternless boa. It's also a blood, which is another recessive. The onyx being an incomplete dominant, but this is the homozygous form because it's got 2 copies. We also have in this anery type 2, which is another recessive. Anery removes red, so the blood boa would make this thing blood red, but the anery removes that, so you get this like really grayish looking, I don't even know, beige looking snake with black eyes, because the black eyes come from the anery and the blood. And once again, this is a dwarf boa, so this is not going to get very big. It'll probably live its whole life in a V70 tub. And it also has the hypo gene in there, possible super hypo, but probably just single hypo, because I think only one of the parents had hypo. So this is a hypo, blood, anery, and I think it's actually T positive as well. So this is pretty much every gene I hit upon. This is like a quad homozygous animal with also the hypo gene in it. So blood, super onyx, anery, T positive, hypo. 5 genes in there. And what a powerhouse. Now, if this didn't have the anery type 2 gene in it, this would be about as red as you could possibly get for a boa, which would be exquisite. So I almost was pissed off that the anery gene turned up, because we didn't even know anery was in there, but both parents evidently had anery, and we produced this aneuphoristic type 2, which removes red pigment. But once again, look at those black eyes in this snake, and just exquisite looking. I want to show you one of its litter mates. This never got any of the onyx genes, but this is a T positive blood. Okay, so it's also known as an El Diablo. That's a Honduran T positive. The Honduran T positive for me is the best looking T positive line. That's a tyrosinase positive albino, so it has some melanin obviously. It's also got the blood gene in it. Look at the black eyes. And there's no onyx gene in here, and I don't believe that there's a hypo. There could be hypo in here too. It's possible. Look at that belly. Look how red that belly is. I mean, this is a really nice looking snake. And once again, can you imagine if the other one didn't have that anery, how red it would be? Because that one also has the super onyx in it as well. So this is kind of an idea of what you get from when you have a T positive and a blood. And he's a little on the run here. So this litter is just getting better and better as it ages. Here is same litter. This is a hypo Honduran T positive with nothing else in it. So you can see that T positive is gorgeous, and when you put the hypo in there and you create that hypo Honduran T positive, look at the tail on that thing. Look at how diffuse. You could see the hypomelanistic gene just erasing pattern, and then of course the T positive, just also the T positive albino is gorgeous. It looks like someone just put turpentine on this snake and diffused it down, and you get these creamy brown and cream colors in here. And once again, this was from the same litter. No onyx in this, but an exquisite looking boa, and you can see how nice that Honduran T positive is. There's so many different lines of T positive, but I really believe that Central American T positive line, and remember, these are all dwarf boas, so they're not going to get huge. These are terrific, and I think I always hold back and wait to post my Onyx Boa litters, because they just get better and better as they age, and so I didn't really want to release any of these, and I'm so glad I didn't, because these are just improving as they grow. Okay. I want to just finish off today. I had to show you this. I was cleaning yesterday, and I looked at this hurricane ball python mort that I produced, and I was just like blown away by how good it's gotten since its age. This is a hurricane, okay, and you can see the hurricane swirls here. Right here, that's those hurricane swirls. That's what gives it the name hurricane. It's a pattern mutation. This is a black pastel hurricane Enchi. You can see the Enchi influence. It's almost like gold flake in it, and it's yellow belly. You can see the diffuse, the blushing here, and how the belly is completely yellow. So this is a hurricane black pastel Enchi yellow belly that's also had pied. I mean, this is just exquisite. I mean, the hurricane and black pastel together, along with that Enchi, is just unbelievable. Obviously, yellow belly makes everything look better, and I'm so excited the way this thing is turning out, and the colors that I'm getting from this thing, and just the contrast. And I always talk about contrast, but look at the contrast between the striping here and the sides, and then how as you go down towards the belly, you get this yellow belly just blushing this thing out. It's got such a well-defined head pattern with a black head, and you see these little wings almost. It looks like these Captain America wings on the side of its head. And this snake is just, once again, getting better as it gets older, and I can't wait till this thing gets up to breeding size, because black pastel and hurricane together are really going to change the scope of dark snakes. We all look for light orange snakes, and I love orange snakes. I love white snakes, but you know what? The dark morphs are really making a big comeback, I think, in 2020. I think we're going to see a lot more people going for these dark morphs, because there's contrast there. Once you make a snake white, what can you do with it, right? When you have contrast, and you can put this in there, and then you turn this into an albino or a lavender albino. Oh my God, the infinite possibilities. All right, guys, I hope you guys are having a great New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. 2020 is going to be a big year, a lot of great breeding projects, and I'm going to keep showing you all the new stuff we got, hopefully educating you on genetics and husbandry of snakes. And if you guys have any, obviously, suggestions, put them in the comments below. Have a happy and safe New Year. Remember, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and don't forget, hit that like button, and we'll see you back next year.